Good evening to you all, members of the African Development Project. My name is Chris Makolo, and I'm the Regional Director for World Neighbors in Africa. The last time I addressed this group was during a dinner in the house of Sue Rainey in 2007, when I was the area representative for East Africa. Since then, a lot of changes have taken place within World Neighbors. We have a new president and CEO, Dr. Kate Schechter, who is with you tonight. And now I am in charge of all World Neighbors programs in Africa, where we work in 5 countries. We work in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania in East Africa. We also work in Burkina Faso and Mali in West Africa. We have 11 programs in Africa where we are working with 30,000 households in 160 communities and villages. As you know, World Neighbors' purpose is to build and strengthen the capacities of rural communities in order that they can take charge of their development processes. We do this by taking cognizance of the fact that they need to be food secure, they need to have proper livelihood sources, they need to be healthy, particularly women and children, they need to manage their natural resources well, and we take cognizance also of climate change. Now, the working relationship between World Neighbors and African Development Project goes a long way. The ADP has supported World Neighbors in a number of programs. The first program was the MUDEP program in Western Kenya. In the MUDEP program, the focus has been mainly on 3 main activities. The first activity is agricultural production. The second activity was to enhance livelihoods. And the third activity was natural resource management. I will briefly summarize each one of those 3 in turn. For agricultural production, we introduced a good and drought-tolerant species of cassava. For agricultural production, we introduced a variety of cassava which is drought-tolerant. Cassava is one of the so-called orphan crops. They are called orphan crops because communities have not been producing them, and yet they are very good for addressing issues of food security. We also introduced high-value crops such as mangoes. Mangoes are very important both for nutrition as well as for income-generating activities. The second area where we have been supported by ADP in the MUDEP program is in the area of livelihoods. And here we have managed to train 10 self-help groups that are engaged in savings and credit. They mobilize their own resources, then they lend amongst themselves, and they use these monies to start businesses for income-generating activities. Thirdly, we have managed to help the community using ADP funds to protect 3 natural springs. These are springs that are now enhance the community's access to potable and safe water. The natural springs have helped to reduce the time that the women and the girls take to go and look for water for domestic purposes. One of the beneficiaries of this program is a lady by the name of Janet Wabwire. And Janet has this to say, and I quote Janet: "As a family, we now have better sources of nutrition, and our food situation is better." Janet goes on to add, and I quote, "The biggest benefit has been in the improvement of our family's nutritional status. When people look at John, our youngest child, they are amazed at his growth and healthy body. Janet and the husband, Callistus, have kitchen gardens which are close to their houses, where they grow vegetables, both modern vegetables and very nutritious traditional vegetables. And Callistus, Janet's husband, says that because the kitchen gardens are close to the house, he is capable of getting the vegetables and cooking them for the whole family, particularly for the children when the wife is not there. Then we asked Callistus, as a man, does he really cook? His response summarizes the changing gender relations in this community. Callistus told us, and I quote, "Shh, don't say it aloud right now. It is still a taboo, but we are slowly changing. One day I will say it in the open." So that shows that apart from reducing poverty in the MUDEP community, there are also changing relations between men and women, and they are now working together as one, instead of just the women who are doing a lot of work in the gardens. Men and women are now working together. At the end of 2013, World Neighbors requested ADP if it could shift its support from the MUDEP program in Western Kenya to a new program in Uganda that World Neighbors was just starting, called Mabuta. That request was granted, and currently ADP funds are used to support the Mabuta program in Uganda. The Mabuta program in Uganda is located in Mayuge district in southeast Uganda, one of the poorest regions in the whole country. And currently we are working with 1,600 households. The funds from ADP is used for three main activities: agricultural production, livestock management, and livelihoods. For agricultural production, World Neighbors has helped the community to access a variety of bananas that are very productive, that are tolerant to diseases such as banana wilt. And 18 households have so far benefited. Each household has received 100 banana suckers, and the strategy we have is that once the households receive the banana suckers, later on they pass some suckers to other members of the community. This is called the passing on the gift model or strategy, which in the end will ensure that all the households have access to the banana suckers. With respect to livestock management, we introduced dairy goats into the community. Dairy goats are very important in the sense that they are better than the traditional goats, and they also supply milk. Goat milk has been proven to strengthen the immune system of the human body, so it is something that is kind of medicinal and is used mainly also by people living with HIV. The introduction of the goats, the improved breed of goats, is also intended to help in upgrading the local breeds so that they can produce better results for the community members. Currently, 24 households have benefited from the dairy goats, and as with the banana suckers, we use the passing on the gift model, where when the goat kids, the kid is passed on to another family, so that again in the long run all the households that are participating in the program are going to benefit from the goats. Finally, we have also supported 9 savings and credit groups. This is where women come together, they mobilize their own monies and lend to each other And people who borrow these monies use them to start some businesses for income generation. And this has been, the savings and credit are currently benefiting over 200 women. It is important to quote one of the beneficiaries of the MUDE program that has benefited from the ADP funds. And a lady by the name of Jessica Kwagala, who is a widow with 10 children, has benefited and is currently having a thriving second-hand clothing business within the village where she lives. And Jessica had this to say, and I quote her: "Ever since World Neighbors came to our community, I have learned that there are people who are enterprising but only lack money and business skills. I am now better. My life is good because I'm able to pay school fees for my children. Long live World Neighbors." And here we can also add, long live ADP. The Mabuta program was visited in January 2014 by Beverly One of ADP and her friend Ellen Catalano. This visit to the program by Bev and Ellen tremendously boosted the morale of the community members, because for the first time coming face to face with the donor or the benefactor, an experience which is very rare in such marginalized and remote villages. Where does the Uganda program communities want to go from here? Are there opportunities for expanding or scaling out some of these successful initiatives so that more households can benefit? The answer is a big yes. One of World Neighbors' principles of work is that we start small, and after generating some successes, then we can expand the successes so that more community members can benefit. Now, we have witnessed that there are very many successes in the Mabuta program, and therefore the program is ripe for expansion. With more funding, the expansion can be realized through a number of strategies, but I will only talk about 3. The first strategy is to use the school health and environmental clubs, where we can use the pupils to reach their parents and to reach more community members with messages of good agronomic practices, good health behavior, and good care of natural resource base. The second strategy would involve introducing faster breeding livestock species. This would entail helping the community to acquire pigs and poultry, because these livestock types multiply very fast, and therefore using the passing on the gift strategy, more community members can benefit much more rapidly. Thirdly, the community needs to deepen the savings and credit initiatives. They need to plan ahead and be able to form what are known as savings and credit cooperatives. By forming these cooperatives, they'll be able to increase their capital base, and therefore more members can borrow substantive amounts of money to do rewarding businesses with those loans. Those 3 strategies are what we may want to start with to help the community expand what ADP has helped us to help them achieve. We are happy and grateful that ADP has already mobilized some of the resources that we need to start the expansion process. And for all this, I wish to thank ADP members. And for tonight, I would like to wish you a very successful evening until we meet again. And on behalf of the communities that are benefiting from the generosity of the ADP members, I would like to say thank you very much and God bless you.